In this episode, I'll be unboxing the recent Blu-ray release of Pumping Iron from Via Vision Entertainment. Welcome to Robert Bellissimo at the Movies. This is a YouTube video podcast exploring storytelling on film, as well as interviews with industry professionals who work in film, television, theater, among other areas of the arts. Before I jump into unboxing this documentary from Via Vision, I also want to talk a little bit about how I feel about it. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I will read the synopsis, which is on the back of the Blu-ray here. In 1977, an independent documentary movie shone a light on the world of bodybuilding, becoming a huge box office hit and creating an international sensation. It launched one man's multi-million-dollar career and changed the world of bodybuilding and physical exercise forever. Pumping Iron. Starring five-time Mr. Olympia Arnold Schwarzenegger, the movie followed the 28-year-old bodybuilder as he competed for his sixth title. So this is the second time I've seen this. I'd seen it about a decade ago, and I enjoyed it even more the second time. It is so engaging. It brings you right into this world of bodybuilding. And for something that on the surface, if you're just looking at a picture of, for example, Schwarzenegger right there, we look at the back, their physiques are out of this world. I mean, it makes them look like they're not, like statues, like they're not even human because they're so big. But it's very human. I mean, they show the story that it's really about people, and they're no different than anybody else. And it shows various people in the documentary, these bodybuilders, what drives them to do it. And sometimes they may have been bulking up to help with their sports because a number of them were also athletes, and I got the impression for some of them that it also had to do with an insecurity, perhaps. Some talk about being bullied, and so obviously this bulking up makes them tougher, look stronger, that no one's gonna mess with them. So I thought that was really interesting. And of course, Schwarzenegger is the one who stands out the most. Here he is. He had already won Mr. Olympia 5 times, and everyone's out to win, and he's trying to win it for the sixth time. And of course, his main rival in this is Lou Ferrigno, who is from Brooklyn, and it's actually very warm and funny to see him at home with his family, and his father is his trainer in his Italian family around the dinner table, and how much his father really wanted him to win and believed in him and pushed him. It's really quite something. And one thing that I didn't know, and I literally just read before reading before hitting record, was that they did dramatize some of it. For example, because apparently the filmmakers felt that they needed some drama in it or else it would be dull. So, for example, Schwarzenegger tells this story about how when he's competing for a competition, he has to shut off his emotions, that nothing can bother him from his focus and what he has to do to train for these competitions. So he talks about how when he was training for a competition, his mother called to say that his father died and asked if he was going to go home to go to the funeral. And he said no, because he could not get emotionally wrapped up in it. And, he's like, well, he's dead and there's nothing I can do. And he's smiling as he's saying it, but he looks very, very sad. So he seems so unemotional and casual about his approach, but you can sense the sadness in his eyes. And he talks about how his girlfriend really got mad at him. Like, how can you do this? How can you not go to your father's funeral? And then he ends the little story by saying, oh, I can't even talk about it. So it obviously made him really upset, and it's something he couldn't even look at. And I thought this was a monologue that I actually never forgot, and I thought it was so captivating. And apparently, it is actually not true. It is a scripted story. However, from a performance standpoint, I thought Schwarzenegger performed it beautifully because he looks like, to me anyways, my impression was that he looked teary-eyed, but he's trying not to show it. He's trying to be very casual about it. But of course, what is true is what goes into this becoming a bodybuilder and all the work and discipline and training and focus. And it's like anything else. If you want to be an athlete, or if you want to be an artist of some kind, or anything that requires a real discipline and focus and concentration and passion, that's the big thing. These people loved what they did. They had such a passion for bodybuilding. And to me, I love to see people so passionate about what they do, whatever it is. I love to see characters like that. So that's what makes this so engaging. And of course, they all have these great personalities, particularly Schwarzenegger, who is larger than life, who has this great sense of humor, who's very charming, who's a showman. It's so good. And then you see some heartbreak as well. Sometimes when the characters would lose and competitions and things like that, and your heart goes out to them because they poured so much into this, into what they do, and put in so much work, and then they end up going there and losing. But not only the bodybuilding, but how they had to learn how to pose. Because that's one thing I thought, well, it's like when these guys are lined up in front of the judges, to me, they all look pretty similar in physique. Yeah, some look a little better than others. I'm no expert. I don't really know. So what is it that makes them become, Mr. Olympia? But the posing is a big thing. Their confidence, that they bring out something about their personality that they're showing. So it has that performance aspect to it, just in the poses, like which of course we see on the back. So it's wonderful. And the Blu-ray, let me get into the little unboxing here. So I've already held this up for a while, but you could take a screenshot if you want to take another look. And here's our back. Great images. I love these Via Vision releases. And the special features, I'll read them out to you. Hard Science of Bodybuilding was a short documentary about just what goes into being a bodybuilder. So they go more into, the fact that sometimes these guys are working out so hard and so much that they, wind up throwing up. And just the diets and the discipline. We see that in the documentary, but here it's like they go more specifically into what goes into their diet, what goes into their fitness routines every single day. So it's pretty interesting. And Still Pumping is about Schwarzenegger. It's many years later, and he's looking back at this time. And he gives some great advice. In terms of how focused you need to be. And how everything that he put into his bodybuilding, with his discipline, with his confidence, with his concentration, he put into then his acting career, and then he put into his political career. And he just, every time he went to the gym, every time he went to an acting class later for his acting career, every little thing he did was a step forward in achieving success and achieving the goals he wanted. He talks about, if he would go and talk to people about who wanted to become bodybuilders, he goes, anyone who sort of didn't seem confident, he would just dismiss. It was only the ones who were totally confident that he felt were the ones who were going to do it. Where this is where I don't totally agree with his views. I think he gives great advice, but he's a little simplistic in terms of confidence, because some people need confidence to be instilled in them. They may have not much confidence because of their upbringing. He happened to be a very confident man, and you see him. He looks like he has no doubts, but everyone has doubts. Everyone at the end of the night, before we hit the pillow and go to bed, there's some kind of doubts and fears and insecurities, and so he was talking in terms of no, it's only the people who really want to do it. And I just thought, okay, he's a little, it's good advice, but some people need, maybe some inspiration. They need some kind of a mentor. So some of the things he said, I just felt were a little simplistic. And he gives the impression that so long as you do I guess that's the Republican in him. It's like, so long as you work as hard as you can, you'll be able to achieve whatever you want. And look, I mean, we all need to work hard. We all need to be disciplined. But not everybody who works as hard as him is going to become Mr. Olympia like he did. I mean, we can't all become, we can't all make these huge achievements. There is always an element of luck, I believe. But of course, he is absolutely right. You can't just be lucky. You have to be prepared to be lucky. You have to be ready when those opportunities come up. You can't just show up out of shape at a Mr. Olympia and expect to win. So he's absolutely right in terms of what it takes. I just wish he wasn't so simplistic about it. But nonetheless, it's a really great inspirational interview. So I'll show the inside as well. I always really like. I'll pop the disc out. I always really like the fact that ViaVision shows you a bunch of pictures of what they have, because that makes it not just, oh, here's a Blu-ray of pumping iron, because I like this documentary. It's like, oh, this gets you interested in the entire label, and they may have other things that you're going to like. So we have some great choices on the inside, and of course I'll put the people want to take another look at the actual Blu-ray, the sticker there. But it's great. It's well worth it, and it's a fantastic documentary. So I highly recommend purchasing it from ViaVision. I will leave the links in the description box below from where you can get it from them. And if you've seen Pumping Iron, please comment below and let me know what you think of it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I want to thank all of my members on Patreon. If you're interested in becoming a member of my Patreon, head over to the link patreon.com/RobertBellissimo@the-movies for full details. And if this is your first time here on my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing by pressing the Robert Bellissimo at the Movies logo. You will see it floating above my head in the top left corner to your top left in just a second. Just click on that and then click the bell in order to get a notification every time I release one of my new episodes, or when I go live. Hit the like buttons below as well. And again, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this documentary, or if you have purchased the Blu-ray from ViaVision, please comment below and let me know what you think of it. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you in the next episode.